our next dog is Spotify. And we've been doing something different in the month of September and continuing to October, where people don't go in the kennels to look at the dogs. And Spotify is the perfect example of why we're giving something new that a chance, right? Spotify does not show well in his kennel. When you walk by his kennel, he looks like a dog that's terrified of everything in life. And when you get him out, he's a totally different dog. His body language is so loose. In his kennel, he's so tense. He's kind of doing that whale eye. He's very insecure in that environment. And it's weird because even if you just go inside the kennel with him, he totally changes. It's just that little bit of a barrier where he's stuck in there and you're on the outside. But when he comes out, he's done well meeting strangers. You can see he loves a good butt scratch. This guy has never turned down a treat. Even if he doesn't want to take it from you, you drop it on the floor, he's going to eat it. He loves a good snack. He's just, a true hound dog. He will follow his nose anywhere. Sometimes he follows it into the trash. When he was getting processed, he was enjoying all the things that he could find in the trash can. So if you're going to make Spotify part of your family, covered trash can that you keep under the cabinet might be a good idea. But he is very trainable because he is very treat motivated. So you could also work with him on that. As you can see, he's wearing a little bit of a different leash setup. He's wearing a martingale. So it's not like a choke chain or anything like that, but it does pull so it won't come over his head. He's wearing a chain leash because sometimes Spotify likes to chew on the leash. So that just gives him a little bit of an incentive not to chew on that. And he's been doing really well with the martingale setup. We use a martingale that actually buckles like a standard collar for him because it's easy to get on and off. And then he wears his other collar just at night. But he's just a really fun guy once you get to know him. When they processed him, they said once he got comfortable, he even was trying to get in laps and things like that. But he can be a little bit more of a slow burn, takes a little bit of time to get to know Spotify and have him feel truly comfortable. But again, totally different outside of that kennel environment, which is why we're asking people to look through our catalog of dogs and meet them strictly outside instead of seeing that side of Spotify that may make you want to pass him by, even if he's a great fit for you and your family.
So we've noticed he's a little bit head shy. What's that mean?
So it's not uncommon for dogs to be head shy, and sometimes it's just with strangers. But what that means is they don't like you to touch around their head and neck, right? A lot of people have a tendency to reach straight for a dog, the top of their head. And that can be really scary and overwhelming. It's kind of like if a Godzilla was kind of coming down on you, somebody bigger and taller. So dogs tend to prefer it if you kind of go under their chin first. So Spotify is definitely a dog that struggles with that. And that's part of the reason why his martingale has a snap collar closure on it instead of just going over his head, because he doesn't like that. It makes him uncomfortable. So that is a little bit easier to go around his neck. You can also do things, counter conditioning wise, where, you start with the loop of the leash and you put a treat in there. He loves treats. So he's like, that stuff coming over my head isn't as overwhelming. But for part of that reason is why we have him listed as no small kids, because they might not understand that Spotify doesn't want his head touched so much. So we're looking for, kids that are, 6 and up, maybe 10 and up, those types of ages to be a part of Spotify's family. But just something to be aware of, even if you're just meeting him for the first time because you think he might be a good option for you, or if you're a volunteer walking, all good things to be aware of in terms of not making Spotify feel uncomfortable. If you want to make Spotify part of your family, then definitely go online to book that appointment, and you'll get to see the real Spotify outside or here in our education room. And the first step is going to be going to visit fcac.as.me.